Yeah, it's a really scary combination to have to play against. I'd say even a pause for Grim for Hyde
Yeah.
is also good because you could still go for the Ags buildup, as we tend to see emphasized a lot as well towards the mid to late game as a rush item. So you could go that route. Doom, Grimstroke is lane as well outside with Soulbind. It's pretty darn strong. Scorched Dirt on, run up, get the Inkswell. Spawn.496 do take it themselves. So, they kind of realize, all right, we didn't ban it out. We have to take it. They don't have the best Soulbind combos. They didn't have the best Soulbind combos last time around as well. But at the least, they're preventing Talon from picking it up. So Talon's going to have to look for something else to build off of here. It would be pretty cool to maybe pick up a Rubik. A Rubik sounds really nice. You have Kunkka spells to steal. You have Dark Willow, Grimstroke, Soulbind to take away. And then you can get your own double Doom off. But they go for the Quap first. So Talon keeping things really open into the Lion once more for Hyde. So I'm guessing that's going to be the KP offlane Doom now and the Mikoto Quap mid. Hyde taking the Lion once more. Weaver for Fly. Leaving that last pick for Gabby. I'm surprised they prioritized the Lion and the Quap over something like Gabby's PA right now. Right? Like, you already have the Weaver. You're already enabling that PA as you enabled it last time with a Dazzle. And it could be an easy ban for Spawn.496, but they only have 2 bans left. There's still a lot of physical cores in the pool for Gabby if he wants.
No, certainly so. Still, final pickup here from Spawn.496 before we get back into the ban phase. Maybe just a mid laner here, perhaps even just the off lane. You don't have that Mars to go back to here for Spawn.496, so a bit unfortunate for themselves. I suppose you could go back for the Spirit Breaker if you wanted to try and run that again. I don't quite think it was Red's fault that they lost out that game, but instead they're going to go for an anti-mage pickup. A very interesting pick to make here, Jonathan. How do you feel about that one?
AM into Lion. We've seen this one before. Once your blink is up in line, you can keep that AM down. Like, there is a way to kind of play against it, but you have to be really quick with a counter spell, and that's easier said than done, especially if the line gets a good angle. So it can be a little bit tough. I think for Spawn.496, this is something we've seen Ghost play a lot, so I think that is a sensible pick for them. They may be feeling confident giving Ghost one of his comfort heroes, and that does shift Exilern onto the Kunkka, more than likely on our mid here. But I don't know, like, when you look at the lane, I guess it's not all bad for AM. You can just run up on Doom, burn his mana, prevent him from devouring, prevent him from using Scorched Earth, and you're going to be fine. Whatever lane partner you have with Dark Willow or Grimstroke is pretty good with AM, as they can kind of buy him the space to just farm up in the lane at least. So there is that, but there's also like the tempo issue where you will need a Battle Fury, you will need to take some time to build up, and Spawn.496 will have to kind of slow down their pace to almost something like what Talon does. And I don't know if you have enough from the Dark Willow, Grim, and Kunkka already to kind of get that. Like, they're going to need something amazing for Red to kind of play that 4 Protect 1 here.
Certainly so. See what they do pick up though. Again, they still have, well, they don't anymore. The Spirit Breaker was banned out by Talon Esports, but you do want someone a little bit more aggressive in that offlane here for Spawn.496, I'd say. What else is there, John? I mean, you talked about the 4 Protect 1. What kind of offlane are you thinking of here? Unless you're thinking offlane Kunkka and another mid lane for Spawn.496, which I suppose could also be the case.
You could still flex it that way. I don't know if there's something on mid as well that kind of helps them out there. Like, up against a Quap that's already a very stable lane, you can maybe consider something like, say, a DK could be nice in terms of just being aggressive. It gives you another Inkswell combo with a Grimstroke once Blink is up. You do worry about Doom, but once you have Dragon Form up and you get at least 1 stun off, you're kind of okay with just being the Doom target and just buying space for the team. Ties well with Kunkka, with the boat as well. So you could go that route. I don't think you have a lot of room to be greedy if you do go for a different mid on Spawn.496. Kunkka versus Quap is already pretty good if you want to stay with Kunkka mid and take something else off lane. Like, you still have the option for, say, a Tide, and that could be one way to run as 4 heroes. Tide, Kunkka, great AoE control. They are both really prime Doom targets, which can make it a bit tricky, but that will force the Doom to kind of pick and choose. Talon do go into the Luna now, to kind of build up a big physical core for Gabby. Can stay protected. The PA and Turboblade was banned, so Luna's probably the next best bet. I think when you look at the lanes for Talon, Luna, Weaver, maybe a bit more passive. It's not as aggressive as a PA could be, but you have that same flash farm that can come out here for Talon with Luna. And I think Spawn.496 really do have to push the envelope here. They've got to keep track of that jungle, Mike. They've got to shut down Gabby's farm. If not, he's going to grow big really fast.
Absolutely. And there's a Night Stalker to come out from Spawn.496. So that's the kind of aggressive offlane we were looking for here from this Dire's side. Very excited to see how everything goes here, John. I don't know how I feel about the Luna on the side of Talon Esports, but I suppose it's yet to be seen. I mean, we kind of doubted the Dazzle last game from Fly, but he did a fantastic job that time around as well. So we won't judge before we do go into it, or I should say I won't judge, John, but you are going to judge, because I'm going to ask you a very, very difficult question that you answer every time we cast. Who has the better draft, John?
This time around, I think Talon came out with a better draft. Like, the Luna feels like it's going to be enabled. You've got really good jumps in from the Quap and Doom. Down the line, your Weaver can really enable your Luna with a Solar Crest, with a Spirit Vessel, can help out. And then the Ags eventually coming in if it does go ultra late. Lane matchups aren't too bad as well for Talon, like Luna and Weaver up against Night Stalker. I mean, Luna Weaver is not a very impressive lane, but Night Stalker is really weak at laning as well. Even with the help of, say, a Dark Willow or Grimstroke, it's not going to be enough to really harass out Gabby. And we have seen what Gabby can do with an ounce of space there, Mike. He just transitions to that jungle very fast and starts clearing out real quick. So we'll have to see if Spawn.496 can kind of apply that pressure, because if the same thing happens from game one, I think Gabby's going to have an even faster time in the jungle to come out with just a couple of items and get ready to go.
With that, John, we are going to get into it. Game number 2 between Talon Esports and Spawn.496 set to get underway. Immediate smoke up here from the Dire end, so early wards to be placed, it seems. And that mid lane, a bit of a rough time last game around for good old XE Learn, right? Like, you had that solo kill from Makoto, and that kind of just felt like it ruined the game there for XE Learn, and we did later on see him end up going for the BKB rather than the Orchid Rush, and that felt kind of weird as well. See if he has a bit of a better game here on the Kunkka. The Quap game, I mean, it didn't look that bad, but you can kind of tell by the fact that he went that first item BKB that he did feel kind of pressured and almost just afraid to get caught out and just die.
Yeah, we need to see XE Learn just take a more forward position, you know, just be more confident. Like, the BKB was a somewhat sensible choice, but again, it delayed the Orchid. It felt like it never even came out in that game because they lacked that Orchid. There was a lack of control. You don't have the same issue with Kunkka. I still want to kind of see that armlet build up. You could go armlet BKB, and that is perfectly fine for the Kunkka here as well. But he does have to have something ready to take these fights, because a lot is hanging back that Kunkka going off Snowball.
Oh, nice body blocks here from Ohio. Hyde gonna drop straight off the bat. All they needed was the body blocks. Ohio, he didn't even have Inkswell. It was just Stroke of Fate. It was more than enough to get first blood already for Ghost.
The big pickup for Ghost, and unfortunately for Hyde, he didn't even manage to get off his ward, which I guess is a blessing in disguise, because now there's nothing to de-ward. At the same time, this does give Spawn.496 a better position to contest multiple runes, so we'll see how much they can get away with here.
They're gonna try. You've still got to Hyde back up, so they're going to go for a bit of a fight here. Ghost, he does not have Blink up right now, so he does have to be very cautious, and they'll realize very soon he does not have the Blink, but Makoto, he doesn't bother going for the Shadow Strike. So while they do go for quite a bit of damage onto Ghost, he'll be able to walk away and slowly just recover. In the end, Talon, again, not too interested in getting too aggressive early on. They'll just take their time, go back to the laning stage and sort that out first. And speaking of the lanes, John, we'll start with the mid lane this time around. You're going to have Makoto against XE Learn on that Queen of Pain against the Kunkka. This time around, it does feel like XE Learn should have a pretty decent advantage on that Kunkka.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for the Kunkka to manage that mid lane. You've got the X to hold Quap back if she does go for the Blink. You can just constantly apply harassment on Creep Wave onto the Quap with the Tidebringer as well, so it's not too bad. Mikado can kind of divert his build here, maybe going for a Shadow Strike build up against a melee hero. That could be one way to kind of force XE Learn back as well, but it's fairly open-ended for the Quap, not seeing that level 2 commitment yet. Now, rune control going to be a little bit more important for Mikado, as he does need to, you know, get topped up every single time to clear out the wave, whereas for Exalearn, it's Tideburn is free. So we'll see how much emphasis is given to Mikado to secure those runes early on.
Top lane, of course, you've got Ohio and Ghost there again, along with KP and Hyde. Does feel like another dangerous lane here for Ghost and Ohio, as you can get easily caught out, especially once that level 6 mark comes up for KP. But for now, Ghost should be just fine, along with Ohio, to just remain safe and keep that farm going. And I suppose you always have the Blink Inkspell combination as well, so I think for Hyde, he definitely has to watch himself in this line. The damage output can be there with just these two heroes from Spawn.496.
Yeah, they've got to just play it a bit slower here on Talon side. Ooh.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gabby ends up going down bot lane, and Bon's able to take him out. Fly does get a trade on the Weaver, but that's about all he's going to get. He does get a fair bit of damage onto Red, but not quite enough to really threaten his life.
And that's a bigger kill coming out from Spawn.496. Again, they're starting to apply some early pressure onto Gabby. Much better start coming out already. I think you have to consider that the lane of Luna and Weaver is a bit slower, but you don't really expect it to die like that. So I think Talon's got to respect maybe some of that control, some of that damage coming out from Bon, and just give Gabby a lane to farm in. They shouldn't really be playing too aggressive here. Focus in on those creeps, get Gabby big, and start running for that first initial item to accelerate his farm.
It is really annoying, though, going up against Fly on that Weaver, because you're going to have that bonus damage from the Lunar Blessing. With that Germinate attack, it just feels so much harder. The hits are. Red and Bon really just keeping their distance until they find an opening here against Gabby. Looking back to mid, Makoto's still just dominating. I mean, it's not like Exalearn's that far behind, but it does seem like Makoto is not threatened whatsoever by the presence of this Kunkka. The Torrent is going to fly out now. Makoto, he's going to cop it. But he's more than happy to keep getting aggressive here onto the Kunkka. Exalearn, he's going to be forced to just Fairy Fire up and go for the XTP out. He'll be just fine to reset.
Forced to just kind of try and stay alive in the lane. Mikado does opt for a 2-0-2 build, which is less common, but going a bit greedy, having the tools to harass and clear out the wave saving himself in case the Stray Torrent does come in. But you can see how much that forces Exalearn back and just allows Mikado to get so much more from the lane. Pretty much 4 creeps up, maybe half a creep wave there, or 2/3 of a creep wave already for him. Good start, and just needs to rush into 6. Whoever hits level 6 first should have a better time here.
Absolutely. Makoto and Exalearn right now going at it. Fine for now, it's towards the north. Ohio, he's going to make the jump in onto Hyde with the Inkswell. There's action across the whole map right now, as everyone's just kind of having these little scuffles with each other. The 4-minute water runes are going to spawn up. Should be a 1-for-1 both way. It's kind of an even trade here, as you did see the attempt to stop giving that water rune away here from Ohio, but wasn't really able to contest with Hyde. Instead, he'll just make his way back up to Ghost. In the meantime, bot lane, Spawn.496, they have been really starting to get that aggression going. And it does seem to be a lot off the back of Bon landing these Bramble Mazes. Of course, it does appear he's going to max that out, so Gabby does have to be very wary of that. It's a lot of damage flying in, and they move in again. Gabby, just so low in terms of HP, but now Red, he's overextended. Fly is going to go for the kill, and he does get it. Fly, I suppose the savior of this bot lane is he'll go for another. Onto the Dark Willow, Bon going to try and fight back, but Fly is going to find a second. And that'll recover this bot lane here for Talon Esports.
Yeah, they are starting to build up now, and Gabby, they're giving him the appropriate space he needs. Fly's doing a great job in staving off that aggression. They're still in a bit of a scary spot in terms of HP, but there is a salve, there is fresh tangos coming in for Gabby. He can slowly build up. It's still a slow process in farming. It's not like he's getting everything he wants from lane, but he is starting to get a grip. You are having a better time on 496 with Ghost. I think that's cause for concern, and they are playing with that Blink Inkswell combo.
Onto Hyde they go. Fairy Fire is going to be there, but Hyde, he's got no mana to be able to try and fight back, so Ghost will take a second kill for this game number 2. There's no real way to stop him right now on this AM.
Thank you.
He'll pick up his Ring of Health now, so chances are you're not going to be able to bully him out of the lane anymore. I say anymore, but they couldn't do that in the first place anyway. So Ghost, a very comfortable game thus far.
Yeah, he should be set to really just escalate fast. Battle Fury is not going to be too far off, and once that's up and running, you're going to have issues keeping that AM down from farm.
Well, in the meantime, Learn ends up dropping his hide. Does rotate over to help out Makoto, and they're even going to find a double damage rune. But it does seem like Xiao Bonbon's going to try and stop them from taking it, but a nice Earth Spike there from Hyde. Still, the denier was there on the DD, so he got what he wanted. But the fact that they got Learn on that Kunkka, a pretty darn big deal here for the side of Talon and Makoto, who is really starting to take off now on that Quap.
It's not the best signs for Spawn.496. Like, you are getting AM farm. It feels like the Kunkka farm's a lot more sensitive. Right, like you want him to be online, you want to get the phase boots, you want to get the armlet, the shadow blade up and running really quick, and because Learn has not really gotten as much from his lanes, that timing's going to be set up a bit further back, and you might have to eat into some jungle space that your AM is kind of trying to get for himself. So that could get a stall out here on the side of Talon. It's still a really even game between both teams. You are starting to hit some spikes, though. Like, once you have level 6 on Red, that could be opening up the aggression from the Night Stalker. Red, by himself, hasn't really been able to stop Gab, so it's the same story bot lane, where your Luna's starting to free farm a bit, and even without any sort of farm accelerator item, as long as you get some points of Agi, a couple of Agi items with power treads, it doesn't take too long to clear out the jungle as well. So there's going to be a back-and-forth farm war between Ghost and Gabby, and that's something both sides need to enable here.
Hyde going to show up from the back, again trying to make the play in onto Hyde as Ghost. He'll blink forward, but no, he does land the stun in the end. KP still trying to help out as Hyde. He has survived a little bit longer than expected, but ultimately will die here to Ghost. As again, Red is unable to really, rather KP's unable to really help out. It'll be another kill to go the way of Ghost.
Just great pickups. They understand that once you burn down the line a bit, there's no counterplay. There's no way the Doom can really help you out, because you don't tend to go for Infernal Blade in lane anymore, so there's no harassment back. And it just goes back to that timing that Talon love to play. It's a slower game. They run greedier cores. They're going to have to take their time here, accept some of these losses, hope that they can start buying space out for Gabby, get KP his Midas, go into the Blink afterwards, and kind of get going from there. They are trying to maybe get a rotation up, but Mikado changes his mind, just farms out the stack, trying to build up on our Queen of Pain. Power Tread's almost done as well on this hero. So we'll see what Mikado goes for next. I would love to see the Orchid. I think you will want some great jump in silences to kind of get control on the targets you want to pin down, especially since the Lion Blink's going to be really late this game, Mike. So it does feel like the Quap needs to have something to start these fights off with a little bit more control to follow through with.
Well, it seems like the same dilemma that we had last game around, at least for Learn on the Queen of Pain, where you've got so many things to lock you down right now that you are going to feel like you want the BKB first, but at the same time, it does feel like they are going to need that added control here from Makoto to really be able to start getting aggressive here onto Ghost, but a rotation has been made. Learn's going to show up with a torrent to connect onto Makoto, and now the jump in. Makoto, he'll blink away. The Inkswell will not land, but instead, they'll go after KP on the Doom. Still, Sonic Wave is going to be thrown out, and Ghost, he ends up melting. KP is somehow still alive, as he'll turn around for the Doom now, and he does land it onto Learn, but he will eventually drop his Red. Now finds his own way out, and should be just fine, but no, the Earth Spike is going to connect from Hyde and Fly. He'll keep the chase up and fly. He lands the Sakuchi, but now he needs to run away from this Kunkka. He should be just fine, though. Surely, he has time lapse. In fact, never mind being fine, because Learn, he's the victim here, as they'll keep chasing for more. Onto Xiao Bonbon they go, and that may just be another. In fact, never mind. The Earth Spike does not land, but it is a very successful team fight for the side of Talon, though. I say that Fly's gone now. Soulbind down with the Terrorize in. Makoto's gone on Hyde. He'll be the third target to fall. A triple kill out for Ghost anyway. The fight just drags on that long, John. The Ghost comes back in for a triple.
Yeah, Talon overstayed their welcome, didn't quite manage to disengage, but it did take them a while to clean up all those heroes they were chasing down. There is a lot of durability on Spawn.496 with the Night Stalker, with a Kunkka. So it is a bit tough, at the least. While that happens, you know, Gabby's kind of free farming. The mid-tier one's already gone, so they have a lot more room to kind of dip in and out here for Talon to be on the aggressive, to keep track of the areas the AM might want to farm in. And you are still kind of dictating that pace. You're being aggressive here on Talon's end just a bit. Next time around, when Doom is back up, I think that's the next movement out for Talon. That's when they should, again, look to keep down Ghost, get some punishment on the AM, especially while his stats aren't quite up. Ghost is almost at that Battle Fury timing too, so you kind of want to ensure that you start getting some of that forward vision out before it's up, and they will go for a smoke play here.
They're gonna run right into Ghost. Hyde needs that Hex out ASAP, but Ghost is gonna see it, so the counter spell is gonna be there in time, and but this is one thing that Hyde really needs to be able to pick up is that Blink Dagger, just so that doesn't happen. Instead, though, they might be able to set up on the Xiao as the Earth Spike does land from a mile away, and now they can try to jump in, but the Shadow Realm and TP out is going to be more than enough. They have no way to lock him down. And instead, Talon Esports, they'll go after that top tier 1 tower. It does seem like Spawn.496, they'll do the exact same thing across the map.
Yep, just a bit of a tower trade. A bit slower progress for Spawn.496 in the bot. Fly is getting a little bit of EXP there, but you will Shikuchi away. It's still a lot better for Talon. Kind of reminiscent of what Spawn.496 did in the last game, where they took the mid tower really early, they took the top tower, and they were just pretty much set to shut down farm. This time around, Talon has the wards to back up that objective take, Mike. They're keeping track of the top jungle. They could get some moves out onto the triangle and just keep Ghost from really building up. He still has a 600 gold lead across the board compared to all other cores. That is set to accelerate as well with the Battle Fury being done. So I think for Talon, now is the moment where they start to punish that 4 Protect 1. They need to find that one hero who's going to use the space, who's going to try to build up, keep him down, and hope that Gabby can, again, outscale, hit some earlier item spikes, and kind of carry you through with some damage and presence later on.
Absolutely. It's like Hyde, he has been scouted out there. And Xiao not going to be able to really be within range to set up, but there is going to be a smoke out from Spawn.496. We'll head back. Ooh, they'll go into the Radiant Triangle, it seems, based on the lines they have drawn out. Nobody really around apart from Makoto, but the timing's going to be just perfect because Makoto now does get caught with the X out with the Crippling Fear and the boats to follow, and that'll be a nice quap kill. In fact, they might have even found another as Hyde just about to drop the KP. Will commit the Doom to at least find Xiao, but now he needs his own way out. It looks like he's going to find it anyway. In fact, never mind that, because Red is right behind him, just stalking him. Eventually, I think KP understands he is going to drop. There is just no way for him to TP out of this. So a 2-for-1 trade, but a very valuable trade to go the way of Spawn.496.
It's a big set of kills going their way, keeping down those 2 cores that are trying to get space out from Gabby. At the least, you don't lose Gabby, so that's the good news there for Talon right now. And somehow Talon still holds on to the 3k lead. I think the big difference maker right now, in comparison to Spawn.496, is that Red is pretty far behind on his Night Stalker. His Blink is about to come up. That's probably the only item spike he needs on top of the BKB. So that is going to be the next spike for Spawn.496 to play with in terms of itemization. He can still keep aggressive though.
Makoto's got to be very careful. He tried to make the jump in for the Arcane Room, but Ohio took it anyway. Seems like he's going to be able to survive, as in fact the Xiao that's in trouble now. Sonic Wave will be enough, but Ghost will chase him down with the Cursed Crown. They might be able to set up for this mid-Queen of Pain, but never mind. Ghost has not got the damage right now. The mana pool from Makoto was quite a bit high. So Makoto, he'll be just fine to get himself out. So a very even matchup, John, 10-10, but a 4k net worth advantage the way of Talon, which I think is going to be the slightly concerning part here for Spawn.496. While you are allowing Ghost to farm on this anti-mage, he is really the only person farming.
Yeah, it's only him. I don't think you're too far behind on, say, Excelern. I think he's been keeping up pretty alright, although he's about 1,000, maybe 700 behind compared to the Doom, which is to be expected. The big issue is really Red. Like, it's back to that Night Stalker. It's back to the fact that he can't really farm fast. And for Talon, they have a pseudo core in Fly. He's at 4.2k, only 700 behind the Night Stalker. So they've got an additional core running on Talon, or something that is matching a core on Spawn.496, which is leading to that gold discrepancy. It is paying off for Fly though, right? He's gotten a lot of kills, he's had a lot of presence on the map, he's got the Spirit Vessel up, he could go for that Medallion Solar Crest build next if he wants to, could start lining up for the Yags. and that's when the Weaver really comes into its own, and not even needing the axe, just a casual medallion solo crest up is enough to really provide you a lot more durability on your teammates or softening up targets to burst down. And of course, as this game drags on, sure, you're having an AM farm, but you're farming against a Doom and Luna. The Luna especially clears out camps really quick without itemization, and Doom just eats up the map entirely with Midas and Devour. So you're not going to be able to close that network gap all too quickly here for Spawn.496, even with the AM.
Hide. Get rooted up there by Zhao Bonbon, but Zhao won't go too far. Meanwhile, 496, again, like, they are waiting around as a team. No smokes out yet. It's one of those weird things with the 4 Protect 1, because you're always happy if Ghost is farming. But at the same time, you do want to try and make sure that the other carry is not farming as well. And right now, they are going to rotate up towards the top lane, as you do find Hyde once again on this Lion. This time around, though, they should have him. So you've got Red to blink in. Hyde, he's going to try for the TP play, but there's an easy cancellation there for Red. They do at least get a Lion pickup for their trouble. Again, though, I'm not really sure if they're too satisfied with that.
I think it's still an important kill to keep that blink away, but it's just so much space for Gabby. Like, by the time they can maybe find Gabby on the map, he's going to have his BKB up. He does have to be a bit careful farming this area, though. Xiao Bonbon and Ghost are kind of playing in the same spot, and there's no vision from Talon to read at. So they've got to be extra cautious. No vision from Spawn.496 as well, but they've got the numbers to punish if they want to.
They might try now. KP gonna get caught out with the X and the Orchid as XE Learn gonna throw the boat in, ignoring the Inkswell. Never mind that. They have so much control and so much damage, but KP's still alive. A big Sonic Wave out from Makoto, and now XE Learn drops. They've even got Ohio on red. What a Sonic Wave out from the Queen of Pain into the Eclipse of Gabby. Oh, they just melted, John.
Just too much magical damage on hand. And the beauty of that is because KP died, they still have Doom for the next fight. So it's actually a bit of a blessing that KP copped the gank for them. They could clean up. They didn't need to expend Doom. They're gonna go for a smoke play now on Talon's end. No Sonic Wave and Finger. So not many ults, but just the Spirit Vessel presence from Fly is making these targets a lot softer and just kind of lining up for these kills. So Spawn.496, they've already bailed out Ghost. It's only Xiao Bonbon standing on the cliff. Maybe just breaking up that smoke. He will TP out. Hyde does have the stun, but it's a bit too far.
Xiao Bonbon gonna be okay. Still a 5k net worth advantage now for Spawn.496. And Ghost is still farming, but that's nothing too surprising for an anti-mage. Pretty standard gameplay here for the AM. We'll see when he does choose to get out of the jungle, but I suppose you're waiting for at least the Manta style to be finished. More so maybe the Aghanim Scepter after that. Spawn.496, they're going to group up as 4 and try again. Into that Radiant Triangle. Gabby, though, he's going to be around. They'll make the jump in with the Silence. No BKB available on Gabby right now, but the Cursed Crown is going to be there, Red. He can't get the job done yet. Doom is out. XE Learn, he's in trouble. Terrorize is going to fly in eventually, but Gabby is still running towards the fountain and they can't get it done. He's going to survive. XE Learn, he's the one in trouble, but at least Ghost, he does find Makoto and Hyde. In fact, Ohio now to drop his KP. Get Xiao Bonbon. Ghost, he'll go after Gabby and the Luna, who was sticking around, but now needs to back off as they realize they are outnumbered and they cannot commit to this team fight. The Ghost does stick around, hoping and praying maybe he can find a pick-off, and he's going to try. Back in on Gabby, but now the BKB's up. This was the wrong blink into the stun.
No.
Oh, boy. And there goes the tips from Gabby and Hyde. High risk, high reward, John, but no reward here for Ghost.
Oh, my God.
They even found Red.
They kill off Red because he had to hang around for Ghost to play. Maybe that he was feeling confident with the flank back in. They did have vision up from Spawn.496's side. I do not know why you stick around, though. Like, he didn't have Mana Void. There were multiple heroes from Talon there. He doesn't have the most damage on his AM yet. He doesn't have Manta to save. And he is punished. The Manta is ready now with the gold he has, so it's just completely bought out and assembled. But Great punishment out from Talon. That does give Gabby the edge now in terms of net worth. Going back to that point you talked about with the AM going for Ags, we've seen this before. You know, we've seen AM Ags in action up against Lion. It doesn't feel great because your illusions aren't strong illusions. They get completely removed by the Lion with a Hex, with a Mana Drain. They're not going to last long, so the Blink Fragments aren't going to do as much as you'd want to here. Still valuable as maybe a scouting tool, but it's not going to be as impactful as I think you'd expect it to be, and I think that's going to maybe lead to a couple of issues there for Ghost down the line. I think Talon has done a great job of just keeping it in check. They've got an 8k lead. Gabby's number 1. KP's really farmed up. Fly has overtaken Red's net worth, which is never good news when offlaner's behind a pause 4. You know, you have a lot to deal with. There's basically, again, 4 cores on Talon compared to 3 on Spawn. And that makes the game a lot harder than it should be. As Talon, they're going to go for a smoke play now, Mike.
They are. Learn already having a tough time, and they jump in again. The stun's going to be there. KP out with the finger there from Hyde. That'll be more than enough. And you can really start to tell that the Talon Esports, John, they're starting to feel very confident. The Ags Labyrinth light's coming out, and in they go after Roshan.
Is not the fastest Roche, even with the Swarm up and ready to help you out. No Medallion or Solar Crest to kind of softened up as well, but the damage is coming through from Gabby. He's got that early Crystallis up. They're going to have to deal with 2 lives on that Luna now, and that just makes it so much harder to take these fights. Like, they've got a lot ready. They've got the BKB on KP that's still at 8 seconds. They've got Mikado with the Orchid, who's been really effective with it, so they've got so much jump potential. Hyde's Blink has been on point as well. And Spawn.496, it does feel like they still need to keep stalling for the AM. I think you need some room here for your Kunkka, you need some room for your Night Stalker to get their own items ready to fight. Like, the BKB has to come out for Red, the BKB has to come out for XLR, and there's no room for them to farm when the AM soaks everything up.
Spawn.496 still holding the right side of the map, just protecting that triangle. But in the meantime, again, Gabby, he's just pushing out that top tier 1 tower, or rather tier 2 tower. And I realize that the anti-mage is still farming, John. Right? This is, again, very standard. At what point does Ghost become a problem, though? Like, is the Ags going to be enough?
I don't think so. I think the Ags is going to be one more piece of utility in the kit, you know, a little bit more stats to play with as well, but the Blink Fragments themselves aren't going to do as much because there's a Lion. It just kind of removes the aspect of the Blink Fragments maybe getting some bait plays out because the Lion can just figure out if it's real or not very quickly. Ohio?
Oh, Ohio going to get caught out. Does at least, I suppose, tank the gank here for the team. But, uh-oh, never mind. No tank in the gank. Learn, he'll be doing that. As KP found him with a Doom, and, well, that's going to be a secondary kill here for Talon Esports. As they even found more now towards the north. They've got Zhao Bon. Make it a 3rd. He'll try to survive. Bedlam out. But they won't even need to commit the Sonic Wave.
Man. 3 kills across the map for Talon. They're confident. They're breaking up that 4 protect 1 of Spawn.496. For Spawn, sure, Ghost is still farming. And the AM still farming. I don't think the Ags is going to fix the issues here. There needs to be a lot more coming out from the AM. The split push needs to start coming out. Perhaps in that sense, the Blink Fragments will help out in getting more presence across the map and keeping the lane shoved in. But Talon, with the protection of the Aegis, can kind of do what they want. They take a tier 2 mid, top tier 2 gone, they've got the outpost, only 1 lane really to clear out, and the lines are already drawn. They want to clear out that bot tier 1 and tier 2 before going for the high ground to potentially go for Mega Creeps or the end game if they do manage to find that opening.
Well, bot lane, they're having a look around for KP, but Gabby's around to help out with the Aegis up, so Zhao Bon in a bit of an awkward situation, but he'll go in for the initiation with the Cursed Crown, but that's about all he's going to do. Nothing to follow up quite yet, as Red needed to move north. Meanwhile, in the triangle, who have they got? They found Ghost with the Hex out. The damage wasn't there. In fact, never mind KP. He'll jump in. Doom is not available, however, so they can't lock him down. Instead, they've got Ohio down on the Grimstroke. Already gone as Ohio will buy path to try and rejoin this team fight, but Learn's already been caught out on the Kunkka, and he is not a tanky target. He's gone. In fact, they even found Red. They will end up picking up Makoto on that Queen of Pain. And Red does fly his way out, but KP's going for a dieback onto Ohio, but won't be able to find it quite yet. Keep in mind, you've got the Ags up now on Ghost, so he's sending Illusions in with the Mana Void. They'll take down the Doom. XE Learn now commits the buyback. As Spawn.496, they are fully committing to this team fight, but Gabby's going to move back in with the Eclipse out, but the Eclipse then not jumping onto Ghost. He is barely going to survive with his life intact. Instead, they'll find the dieback onto Ohio. They might still be able to find Red, who is out of the ulti now, and that'll be another. So even with the buybacks committed, they do not get the Aegis off Gabby, and they almost ended up losing Ghost on the anti-mage.
It's a scary position for Spawn.496. A lot of resources had to go in for that fight. Buyback on XLearn, dieback on Ohio, and they don't even manage to find the big kills they want. They kill off the Doom and Quap, which are still big kills at this point, but Gabby is the major issue that they can't really approach. Like, the Ags are doing a great job from Ghost. Managed to catch them out while the line is really low on mana. Didn't have the mana drain up as well to kind of break that up. And the punishment was somewhat there. But Gabby's getting really big. Has the full Silver Edge up. Has a break mechanic to remove AM's durability in terms of the magic resistance. And the Aegis doesn't have too much time left here, Mike. I don't think it's a massive issue because they have control of the map. If Talon wants to play it slow, they can take this tier 2 bot, pull back, farm on their side of the river, and just wait for next Roshan. They've got the map under their control, and there's no real rush here, even against an AM. Like, we still haven't seen that split push coming out from Ghost. We still haven't seen the biggest impact from that hero. He has been finding kills, but it's just not the big kills he wants, and it's not enough to turn the tide of the game here.
Yeah, and neither is Xiaobonbon dying in the mid lane. John as Makoto is able to take him out along with Hyde. Bot lane, Gabby's just so confident on the Luna right now that he's just there by himself. They just don't have the confidence to try and go after this Luna. They are still trying to buy more time for Ghost to get to the point where he has perhaps the Eye of Skadi, and maybe then he can try and jump in. Right now, though, it does seem like Ghost is relegated to just split pushing duty. And I suppose, to be fair, that's about all he can do at the moment, because he certainly cannot man-fight against Gabby. There's just too many ways to catch him out and lock him down. If he mistimes or misuses that counterspell, he's as good as dead. It just takes one Doom or one Hex to get it done.
It doesn't take too much to keep him pinned up. He has been on point with a counterspell, to be fair. Like, it's been pretty difficult for Hyde to get that good angle up. It's still a very precarious position for the side of Spawn.496 right now. The split push is slowly coming true, but there's always a response out from Spawn.496, and they can just put the rest of their resources elsewhere, keeping the other lane shoved in, ensuring that the rest of Spawn.496 don't have room to farm. They are still keeping that chase onto Ghost, but they can't fully commit with KP. A refresh coming out soon for a Doom, though. That is massive. Double Doom in play. They could potentially pin down Ghost if he's not ready for it, and that's the scary point for Spawn.496. If this AM dies in the fight, they don't have a way of at least getting some space out in the map, and that just kind of punishes their entire lineup. That doesn't give them anything. They just outright lose economy and lose control, and it becomes a lot harder for Spawn.496 to find an opening to come back in here.
Absolutely. Just such confidence now from Talon Esports. Just nothing to be afraid about across the map. Xiaobonbon and Ohio need to be very careful because KP is just going for a bit of a chase down. Still going. He'll blink into the tier 3 tower, but he's not going to land the stun. And so he won't bother trying to commit the Doom. In the meantime, Ghosty is going to push that top tier 1. It does seem like Talon, they'll take the outpost and they'll just ignore the top tier 1 going down as they're trying to chase down Xiaobonbon. In fact, never mind that. Red, he was in trouble but does TP out away from Makoto. And so we're playing this kind of very split pushy game here for Spawn.496. I suppose we have seen a lot of this over the last couple of years. Just when you are behind, you are just going to keep all the waves pushed out and just buy more and more time and hope that Talon Esports makes a mistake. Very hard to see a mistake happening, though, with the 19k net worth advantage. Though, to be fair, John, it's happened many times before with many different teams. So, Spawn.496, they only need one. And that could get them right back into the game. Problem is, though, Talon, they've smoked up. Down towards the bot lane, where they know that XE Learn was around. Instead, they're only going to end up finding Ohio. but they'll take what they can get if they can get it, and they will. Makoto, who have to commit the Sonic Wave, but it'll be enough.
It's it's a big spell to commit, but it's still a kill. You're not taking these fights anyway. It looks like they might want to slow it down until next Roshan. So, KP.
Oh, yeah, he's found red. He's going to refresh straight off the bat. Get another stun off, and that's a great kill out from KP. What you love to see out from the Doom. And that's one Doom gone, but what does it matter, John? It does feel like Talon Esports are more focused on controlling the area around Roshan right now. In fact, they are going to try and pressure the high ground through the mid lane.
And without the Night Stalker, that's a lot of that control taken away from Spawn.496. So they've got a little bit of room to get that play out. Not much of a creep wave left, though. It's going to have to be a bit cautious. Gabby is way too big to handle now. Butterfly up. That takes away a lot of DPS coming through from Ghost if he does show up. Even the right clicks from your Night Stalker and your Kunkka can kind of just be ignored now. And it's going to get even tougher once Gabby has that full Satanic up, because he's not even going to be worried about low HP. As long as he can attack with a BKB, he's going to heal back to full. And again, for Spawn.496, they don't have enough to handle that. They don't have Hamilton's Alberts up. They're still working towards a Basher here on red, and they do at least have a fresh BKB of Exo Learn. It does feel like it's a bit lacking. They have the Scotty up now on Ghost, so more stats to play with here on the AM, and straight into the MKB next, seeing that Butterfly on the Luna. They at least are ready to itemize against that. It's a long road until that MKB is up and running, though.
That it is. Smoke up, though. Spawn.496, they're going to try. Keep in mind, no buyback gold available for Ghost, as he just bought that Scotty up. Risky times. They are going to see Gabby. Roshan has just respawned as well. BKB is going to be committed by KP. Uh-oh. That's some very unfortunate timing. I don't know if Spawn.496 saw that. Hyde, he's going to jump in for the Hex out, but Red, he will immediately counter-initiate a Jean Bonbon. He's already gone. Red, he'll at least find Hyde, but the buyback is going to be there for the Lion. It's Gabby right now just trying to deal with the AM illusions. We'll be able to get rid of him. Kodo, oh no, he's going to jump right into Red and Ghost. A great little trap laid there by Spawn.496, but Gabby, he's still going to move back in onto the Night Stalker, and they'll find Red. There'll be another set of kills here as Ghost is going to try and go back in after the Luna. Gabby, he's out of mana, but he can go for the man fight. Mana Void is there with the BKB out, but Ghost, he'll blink away instead of going back after Hyde, looking for the dieback. In the meantime, Ohio ends up going down to fly on that Weaver as XE Learn, he is still not out of the woods yet, and he's gone. 4 to drop for the side of Spawn.496, and now this should be a very free Roshan for Talon Esports.
Looked like a good turn from Spawn, but that trap onto Mikado with forcing the buyback from Hyde. The rest of the fight was just a bit too disjointed. And now Talon gets that second Roche. Free Ag Shard coming out. That could possibly just go to Gabby as well. So you're going to have the Lucent Beam with attacks flying through. Opens up the high ground push even easier. And for Spawn, they can still split push with Ghost Stop. And there's a lot you're asking for from your AM.
Hyde, he's found the main target. They do catch out Ghost, but do they have the lockdown? Not quite. You really wanted KP around, but he was just too far away to be able to blink Doom. Had they gotten Ghost there, John, that might have been at least 2 lanes of barracks, as he still does not have buyback gold.
He's just been forced to keep buying out, keep trying to build up. He is inching closer towards buyback, still 500 away. A little bit more time needed, and once this high ground's open for a Luna, doesn't take too long to rip through. Mid-rack's gonna be gone, top can be next, and they're making moves across the map as well.
Yeah, they're still chasing down Ghost. Orchid's there. He'll mantle the silence off and just go for the TP, but can KP get in for a blink stun? Not quite. The illusion's just making so he could not blink away. In the meantime, mid lane, Gabby in danger as the Bedlam is going to be there by Jean Bonbon. He'll heal up, Boat's going to fly in. He's taking a substantial amount of damage, but he still has that Aegis up. The Mana Void, not going to be enough either. As Gabby continues to survive, and somehow, no, he's gone. The X was there in time. So you do find the initial life of Gabby. The Talon, they seem okay to back off. I mean, we could potentially see some more pressure being applied here by Talon. We'll see if they do commit, though. I mean, right now, they don't have a creep wave.
Still a bit far back. They've got the double Doom back up in KP, so a jump in here could just spell the end if the counter spell from Ghost isn't on point. Chain stuns have to be perfect inside of Spawn. They have to cut off that Doom from using his big spells. If they don't, this could be their last stand here.
Certainly could be in that double Doom. KP, he's having a look around. He's going to be spotted by the Observer Ward of the Die on the low ground. Bon, put out there for a second. Soulbind going to be committed, jump in. Who are they going after? It's going to be Makoto, but he has his own BKB as Ghost now. Onto Gabby they go. They want that Luna, but no, they'll go after KP first. Eclipse being committed, Gabby. He's trying for the BKB TP out in time, and he's going to make it. But now Spawn, they can go for more towards the North Red. He's going to drop to Makoto, but the chase does continue as Hyde now being caught out. Ghost will keep going, and he'll at least find himself a lion. That might be about it, though. It does seem like that's the key. You get rid of that Doom, you get rid of so much control, and then you can go for the big team fight.
They got a really good Soulbind off there from Ohio, forcing the Doom and Luna to stick together for that cursed crown, and from there it just became really easy to clean up. Now, Spawn, they've got the smoke, they want to catch Fly, but he's fairly slippery here.
That he is. Still gonna try. Dust did connect, I believe. And it does. They know he's there. He'll purge off the Dust with a time-lapse out. That might be enough, but no, the Cursed Crown barely connecting in time. And that should mean the death of Fly. And they'll get him eventually. Nice little pick up there for Ghost. The game does continue. I mean, it's a 1 Rax advantage. 26k net worth advantage to the side of Talon Esports. But it's not over yet for Spawn.496. No.
It's not yet. They're hanging on. They're managing to make great work of their team fight control when they do manage to find the initial targets they need. They have to be a bit cautious, though. Ooh.
Close call, but not quite close enough here for Ohio.
They just need to kind of keep working that map. They've got the aim. They can split push. Gabby, all by himself, playing tag. Not going to be able to find an opening as well. You're still in a really good spot here for Talon. I mean, you're 1 racks up. You've got your tier 2s defending bot and top. You still have your mid tier 1s. You find that pick off in Bon. So they could probably just wait for next Roche. I think that's what's going to give them confidence here. Although Gabby?
Yeah, he's been dusted up. Ghost is going to move in, but the BKB has been committed here by Gabby. XC Learn going to show off now. Gabby needs some help ASAP. Eclipse is there, but now the BKB has worn off. XC Learn still trying to mad fight this one, but it's not going to work. The boat romp does nothing. So Ohio does drop a second, and now Ghost gets Earth spiked up. How long can they control? They can control for long enough to get him down. Oh boy. You've got buybacks at least, but you are going to need to commit them right now here against Talon Esports.
You've got to. This high ground's just so fast to melt. And they're going for tier 4s. They know they've got the opening. If they can force the hand of Spawn.496, they can maybe defend, but you still have the Doom on KP. The double Doom's still ready as long as the Doom can find the angle.
Made the jump in. Oh, KP will find one. That's going to be Ohio down, but Ghost, he'll make the jump in onto Makoto. Keep in mind, KP still has that Doom up, so it's a scary scenario here for the AM as he'll pop the BKB. In the meantime, Gabby does end up picking off Red again on that Night Stalker and goes back to the T4 tower. But Ghost, he needs to try and defend this somehow, so he'll slowly drain the mana away of this Luna with the Bedlam terrorized out from Bon. They are chipping away. Meanwhile, Ghost though, counterspell there in time, but Bon, he's going to drop back on a Red. They'll find another. The Night Stalker's gone now. It's a 5v2 situation for Spawn.496, and it's not looking great for him as XE Learn's been caught out again. He BKB's up, but it means nothing. Gabby just shreds him with the right clicks as Ghost is going to try one last time, but the GT's been called. He knows he's dead. And Talon Esports, they'll take a convincing 2-0 victory against Spawn.496.
Yeah, great run from Talon. Maybe a bit closer in game 2 than game 1, but they show that their coordination's coming up. Like Spawn.496, this is a team that really improved over the break from their first week here in that second half of Div 2, and coming in, it felt like they might have had the edge over Talon, considering how Talon's been performing from that break. But it looks like whatever was slowing down Talon, I know from a lot of what we've been talking with him, is it's really been the communication. It's been getting used to each other. It seems like they're slowly working towards that. And Spawn.496, if you ask me in the first half, they seemed like maybe a free giveaway. This time, they bring out really good fight. Game 2 was a lot closer. They come out with this AM for Ghost. We know Ghost's playstyle. This is something he played a lot on Team Mystery. It's a very strong comfort pick. They did, find space for the AM to farm. It looked like they were getting a bit of a back and forth trade. In the end, Talon just managed to dance around them. Not from draft, but from movement. They just ensured that Gabby was much more protected. And the only kills they were getting were on Hyde, were really on KP and Mikado and a little bit on Hyde and Fly. But those weren't the kills they needed. Sure, Ghost was also very well protected, but his impact as an AM was just mitigated by all the single target control Talon had. From the line with Blink, from the Doom with the refresh, it just became really hard for Ghost to kind of split push and join in these fights when he needed to, because Talon had a lot of ways of answering for that AM.
Hate to be the depressing guy here, John. I obviously, congratulations to Talon Esports for picking up that victory. Very, very good. And I believe we... Sorry, one moment. I'm just reading. Dougie's letting me know about our interview, so I'm trying to keep track of that. Oh, we've got Hyde!
Yes.
Hello, Hyde!
Hello.
Congratulations on your victory, sir. A very smooth tour for you guys.
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fine. I'm happy.
Fantastic. John was telling me earlier that Fly was kind of talking about the issues with Talon Esports, or between you guys being some communication. Have you seen that improve greatly over this time that you've had together? Because you've just gotten 2 series wins in a row, and you guys are looking fantastic as time goes on. Do you think that the communication has improved that greatly?
Yeah, I think it's improved. Like right now, like we scream like 6 times every day and keep talking about Dota every day, and we kind of have a same page right now. So it's good.
Excellent, excellent. Hi, tell me, I need you to snitch on some of your teammates for me here. Who's the guy that tilts the most in the team? I feel like nobody's asked that yet.
I don't think that they tilt in tournament games, but I can see Gabby a little bit in pubs.
I could have guessed that one. Go on, John.
I'm curious, Hyde. There's been a lot of talk about where Talon's at. I know when the last time we talked, you guys were in quarantine. Are you guys all together now at last in a boot camp? All together in Thailand?
Yeah, we are in boot camp now.
That's great news. And how's that bonding process going? Like, you guys have been together as a team for about a month now. How do you think, has the boot camp been a better environment? Do you guys feel like you've finally gotten to understand each other and how you guys understand Dota now from that?
Yeah, for sure. I think when we boot camping, we have a lot of time to talk about what we want to do, like the gameplay wise, or just talking about Dota in general. We have a lot of time here in boot camp.
Great to hear. Now I'm curious. There's been some news about the DPC recently. That I think that's what Mike was bringing out. There's no major, so we can start fantasizing maybe about Tour 2 a bit. It looks like it's going to be a bit hard for Talon to maybe make it up mathematically, but let's say Tour 3 comes along. Let's say you guys do get up to Div 1. Is there any team in Southeast Asia High that you'd like to play against? Maybe your ex-team, maybe you'd want to face against FBZ and send him a message here? I don't know. Who do you want to play against?
Yeah, I like to play against Boom. I mean, it's fun playing against them. They're really good, and it's going to be a good Dota for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, I'm curious, you've spent a little bit of time in Thailand. Is there any food that stands out for you in that new environment? Is there anything that you enjoy eating now? I know Fly has a lot of... He is out there eating a lot of food. How about you? What's your experience with the food in Thailand?
Honestly, the best one is what it's called. It's like a curry. It's really good. It's like spicy and sour.
That's nice.
But I don't know the name.
A curry, spicy and sour. It's not tom yum, is it? Because that's not really curry. But it is spicy and sour, so
probably tom yum.
Yeah, tom yum is really good. Mike, do you have anything else here?
No, I think we'll let Hyde go. Hyde, again, congratulations on your victory, and I wish you guys the best in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was a lovely Hyde, John. I don't mean to rush him out of here, but yeah, there is some bad news, John. I feel like you and we like to talk about these things, and ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already seen it, Major number 1 has been cancelled due to COVID, which is really damn depressing, John. I mean, not that you and I were going or anything, but I was looking very forward to having another LAN on, and I was, obviously secretly hoping there was a crowd that was going to be there, though I understood there was going to be some limitations because we are still within a pandemic. Yeah, major cancelled, John. So, bit anti-hype for for Season 1 of the DPC. Go on, John, what is it?
I was just thinking about all the teams in Div 1. Think about Ponlo, who just tweeted that they were going to his first major.
I got
Think
so
about
upset.
Boom. Think about all of them who had this shot at a major. And man, is it soul crushing to hear. I mean, it's tough. What can you do with the circumstances, right, Mike? Like, we've got a whole bunch of stuff spreading around. Only so much you can do. So it's tough. I feel for all of them. I feel for Ponlo. I feel for the guys on Boom, especially because they had such a dominant Div 1. And everyone, people who aren't watching C might be like, this is a 6-0 team in Southeast Asia. That's really easy because their other teams are weak. So,
get out of here.
That might be what they're thinking. And I'm sure Boom would have shown up. And now we don't get to rub it in their faces, Mike. We can't. Just can't.
I mean, those people had just trash opinions anyway. I mean, their team doesn't make it from Europe or whatever, and they get upset and go, oh, our region's so hard. Could be just the fact that the team wasn't playing that well. I'd say, Jonathan. I mean, I think that's a nice way to say it. But yeah, SEA, I think, was going to have a very good major. I mean, you had Boom Esports and you had maybe T1 moving in, as they did look quite dominant themselves. Not anymore, though, Jonathan. We're going to have to wait for 2 or 2 to see what happens. Obviously, very unfortunate news, but, from everyone that I've spoken to working on these things, they do seem to be just as, if not more annoyed than people like you and I are about the fact that the cancellations happen. So if Valve's cancelled it, I imagine there's literally nothing they could have done. Which, judging by, how fast these strains are spreading, what the hell can you do, John? It's an impossible situation.
Yeah, it is really impossible. It kind of drains the energy away, but you know what adds back to that energy, Mike? Our partner, Mate Mate. Thank you to our partner, Mate Mate. Mate Mate, a natural energy drink, is caffeine reimagined. Try Mate Mate today. Get more day, more night. Get 10% off by entering the code BTSDOTA. Head over to bts.gg/mate now. Shipping restrictions may apply, but again, if you can get your hands on this good drink, it is excellent to have, and it should help you through this slump of not having a major, Mike.
Certainly should, John. It's going to be a rather depressing couple months, I think. Still, that'll be it for John and I today. I believe we are going to have Upper Division coming up, so do stick around. Plenty of great SEA Dota to come up. And hopefully it'll make us forget about this news we've had to read just 30 minutes ago. Very, very sad stuff. What's the matchups though, John? We've got TNC versus OB Neon as our first series, and then T1 versus Execration. So it should be a very, very fun time. You might see John and I in the Twitch chat hanging out and just giving crap to everyone, or maybe not. We'll see, John. We'll see if we have the time. So I do recommend you guys stick around and have a great time in the chat. With that, though, it is still going to be an hour away, so chances are you're probably going to see the stream restarting sooner rather than later, and it will be about an hour break before we do get our first series underway. So with that, it's MLP and John. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys next time, but enjoy the next series.